Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji, Standard Pranam. So we will get started. I welcome each and every one of you to day 2 of our 18-day Bhagavad Gita journey. So where we continue to dive into divine conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. So it's not just a conversation, but it is also a conversation that changes hearts, clears all of our confusions, and makes us it takes us to the divine, real happiness. So we will get started with small prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। So we will get started with a small recap of yesterday's session. Let me share my screen. Can one of you confirm if you are able to see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So in the first chapter, so we discussed about 5 topics yesterday. And in the first chapter, Arjuna expressed multiple reasons for his disinclination to fight. So initially, it started with an inquiry to Sanjaya from Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra is blind, as you all know, and he is supposed to go. He's a king. He's supposed to go to the battlefield, but he did not go because he is blind. And he was inquiring to Sanjaya. Sanjaya is his personal secretary, but Sanjaya has a vision given by Vyasadev so that he can envision what is going on in the battlefield sitting at the comfort of his palace. So Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra are sitting next to each other, and Dhritarashtra is inquiring Sanjaya, and he is asking, after gathering in the battlefield, what did my sons and Pandu's sons do? So that was his inquiry. And Duryodhana is comparing his armies. Duryodhana approaches to Dronacharya, his guru, military guru, and he describes Pandava's armies, and he also describes his own army. So after description of both the armies, he feels he's confident, he's comfortable, because his team is led by the military general Bhishma Pitamaha. So that's the reason why he is very confident, because he is more experienced than Bhima, who is leading the other party, Pandava's team, right? So he is fearful also, because he is actually surprised to see the arrangement of the armies from Pandava's side, and but he hides the fearfulness. But he is also a very great diplomatic person, so he is saying that we are in a better position than Pandavas. So he then compares both the armies, and then the victory signs of Pandavas are shown. So blowing of conch shells happen. So before the war starts, blowing of conch shells will be done as a formality. So Bhishma blows his conch shell as the beginning of the war, and Krishna and Arjuna from Pandava's side also blows conch shells, and various personalities blow their conch shells as well. And then when Pandava's side conch shells were blown, Kuru's hearts shattered on hearing the sound vibrations of the conch shells of Krishna, Arjuna, and all the Pandava's side. But when Kaurava's side conch shells were blown, so nothing happened to Pandavas. So they were not fearful because Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, is on the side of Pandavas, so they are not fearful. And Kauravas are fighting against Krishna, against the will of Krishna, so they are fearful because they are going against the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And then Arjuna also goes and observes the armies.
Bhagavadgita class.
So whoever is not
Bhagavadgita class
speaking,
intandanu.
probably you can go on mute. I'm just muting everybody. So if you want to talk, please raise your hand, then you can unmute yourself. All right. So Arjuna also observes the armies. Arjuna asks Krishna. Krishna is the chariot driver of Arjuna. So he asks Krishna to take him between the armies, to observe the armies, to observe who have come to support the evil-minded Duryodhana. So that is his intention. It's not that he doesn't know, but he wants to observe and assess who has come and things like that. So Krishna takes the chariot between the armies, and Arjuna sees all kinds of relatives, friends, sons, grandsons, uncles, and the grandfathers and gurus, etc. Right? So and he becomes overwhelmed. So when he becomes overwhelmed, he also expressed multiple reasons for his disinclination to fight. Firstly, he was overwhelmed with compassion. Today, I think we discussed about what are the bodily symptoms that he has produced out of compassion, right? And secondly, he felt that even if I win this war and receive some kingdom, prosperous kingdom, he says I won't be able to enjoy it without my relatives. So, and thirdly, he says I may incur some sinful reactions by killing my own relatives. And just for the sake of kingdom, if I kill everybody, I will incur sin, is what he will feel. And therefore, he says, I don't want to fight Krishna. And fourthly, he also expressed a deeper concern about destruction of family traditions. So finally, he said, Krishna, I don't want to fight. He's overwhelmed with tears, lamentation, compassion. Everything was on a material plane, on a bodily platform, not on a spiritual platform. So this happened, everything on the bodily platform. So in the first shloka of chapter 2, so what is being covered in chapter 2, we'll also discuss that. So you're all clear with first chapter, right? So maybe some of you did not join yesterday, but this recap would help. I'll also share the link for yesterday's class. You may go through when you have some time. So far is clear?
Clear, Mataji.
Haribo. So we will, so these are the topics of the second chapter. So first thing is Arjuna accepts Krishna as a teacher, and Krishna teaches Arjuna on the knowledge of body and soul. And he also inspires Arjuna with gnana, the knowledge of body and soul. He also inspires Arjuna with work for enjoyment, sakama karma. And he inspires Arjuna with work with detachment, which is called as nishkama karma. And he also talks about qualities of a wise person, who is also known as Sthita Prajna. So these are the 5 topics that we are going to discuss. So now that he is very grief stricken and he approaches Krishna as a guru, and if somebody is depressed and if you have to console them, so you will provide lot of reasons, right? Like that, Krishna is also giving lot of things, lot of knowledge and lot of ways to console Arjuna and make him to fight in the battlefield. So that is the context of second chapter. So in the first shloka of chapter 2, Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra. So what is he saying? Seeing Arjuna full of compassion. So Arjuna is full of compassion, right? Yesterday we have seen, and his mind is also depressed, and his eyes full of tears because he has seen all the relatives, and he has imagined what is going to happen and things like that. So his eyes full of tears, and so this is all seen by Lord Krishna. And Krishna Krishna spoke the following verses in the second chapter. So that is the first shloka of second chapter. So Sanjay is describing Dhritarashtra that he is compassionate, mind is depressed, he's full of tears. Krishna is watching Arjuna, and Krishna is talking to Arjuna in the following shlokas. So then Krishna chastised Arjuna. After seeing that, Krishna is not happy. the Krishna scolded Arjuna in the beginning of the second chapter. Krishna said, Arjuna, your so-called compassion, your so-called lamentation, and whatever tears that you have in your eyes, it's not a civilized behavior, is what he says. He says, Anarya Justam Aswargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. So they don't want to. He's also saying whatever symptoms that he's showing, they don't lead to heavenly planets, because Arjuna is a warrior, right? Arjuna is doing his prescribed duty as fighting. He's supposed to do that fighting in the battle, but he says, I don't want to fight, and he's going against the prescribed duty. Then he will fall into the lower planets after he leaves the body. So that is what Krishna is saying. And they also destroy your reputation, is what Krishna says, because Arjuna is a great warrior, and everybody talks about his valor. And if Arjuna himself comes out of the battle without fighting, so what will others think? His reputation will come down, right? Because he has won several battles, and he was a great warrior. He also helped some demigods in heaven also. So he has got so many astras from so many great people and things like that. So like Arjuna is a very great personality in all the ways, in terms of prescribed duties or in terms of character, everything. But if Arjuna is going away from his duty, going away from the war, then everybody talks about him. So his reputation will go down, and everybody talks about him very badly. So that is what Krishna says. And in the fourth shloka, so the first shloka, Krishna sees Arjuna in compassion, that's we discussed. To second to third shlokas, Krishna disapproves Arjuna's so-called compassion. And in the fourth shloka, Arjuna starts speaking. So Arjuna says, Krishna, how can I counterattack my elders? So Bhishma Pitamaha and Dronacharya are my worshipable elders. So one is grandfather, other one is his guru. And how can I attack them with weapons? Better I live by begging than to kill them, is what his argument is. I don't want to enjoy this prosperous kingdom if I have to kill my grandfather, my relatives, my gurus, and things like that, is what his argument is. Because whatever we will enjoy after killing them, it will be tainted by their blood, is what is his argument. So I am not inclined to do it. And finally, in the sixth shloka, Arjuna says, I am indecisive. I know it's my duty to fight also, but I don't want to fight also. It may be wrong, but I don't want to fight. And I don't know which is better. I am confused now. I am totally indecisive. In such a confused state of mind, Arjuna says, I am surrendering unto you, Krishna. I accept you as my guru. Uh, and usually, right, both of them are friends. Both of them are of same age, Krishna and Arjuna. Like Yudhishthira, Bhima are elder to Krishna. Arjuna is the equal age of Krishna. Nakula, Sahadeva are younger to Krishna. So Arjuna and Krishna, both of them are very good friends. So now that he is leaving that friendship, and he is accepting Krishna as his guru, because he is in a confused state, and he wants guidance. He wants to come out of that confusion with the help of Krishna. So he is accepting Krishna as a guru. For example, if you are driving to a new place, we all use Google Maps, right? Sometimes if the route is complicated, Google will not show up if that place is new and not registered, or many complicated lanes to be navigated through. So usually, sometimes what will we do in those situations? Google is not working. What will you do? We stop the car and ask someone who is passing by. Do you do that?
Yes,
Maybe
Mataji.
Yeah, we all do that, right? So we ask someone local there, we stop them and ask them, how should I go to the destination? So because they know the route very well, you may be new, but the local people are familiarized with the routes, right? Even though they are complicated. So they will guide us to the right path. So like that, we need expert help when, like gurus and teachers, when we are in confused state in our life. So, but if we become very arrogant and I think I know everything, I don't want to take any help, I will go through, you might end up in a wrong direction, right? So that is what we need to think about. So we need to understand in our daily lives also, when there is a need for guidance, we should seek for guidance. Whenever it need not be a guru in our case, but it can be a guide, well-wisher, who is expert in that area. There is no need to hesitate taking guidance. Is what we can learn from this example of Arjuna. So although we are not experienced in new area or new field, when we take shelter of someone who is more experienced in that field, they can guide us right. So that's the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna surrendered to Krishna and gave all of us an important message that you have to take a shelter of a guru or a guide or a mentor in your life also. So after that, Arjuna says to Krishna, I can find no means to eradicate this grief. So even after I win the battle, if I kill all my relatives, gurus, grandfathers, sons, etc. So he says, I will not be able to eradicate that grief that I get out of that victory also. So even I become prosperous king, even you give me all heavenly planets to me, I will rule all the heavenly planets. I will not be able to come out of this grief, is what Arjuna says. So Krishna, he's asking Krishna, you tell me what am I supposed to do? So now that he's also admitting his weakness. So then Krishna smiled and says, because Krishna was on the platform of friendship till that time, and now that Arjuna is accepting him as a guru, and then Krishna smiles and starts speaking now from 11th to 30th shloka. So until 10th shloka, that is what happened. And from 11th to 30th shloka, so Krishna talks about Gnana. So now Arjuna is depressed, right? So Krishna is trying to make him come out of it and do his prescribed duty of fighting. So from 11th to 30th shloka, Krishna speaks Atmagnana, the knowledge of soul and body. And it is knowledge of matter and spirit also. This section is called Gnana, and it is also called as Sankhya. So what is Gnana in general sense?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Excellent. So Gnana means knowledge. What is Sankhya? Sankhya means analysis. So that knowledge you develop by analysis is called analytical knowledge or Sankhya Yoga, which sometimes seen as Gnana Yoga. Sometimes they are used interchangeably, Sankhya Yoga or Gnana Yoga. So Gnana is knowledge, and by analysis you develop knowledge, that is Sankhya. For example, scientists do experiments, right, to analyze things, and by that they develop knowledge. So you can relate that as an example. And now Krishna is saying here, don't lament unnecessarily. So lamentation is something, so you are feeling bad or you are hurt in a mental platform. So you will not feel bad forever, right? For a long time. Suppose if there's something which is not going well from your end, your health is not good, or you have lost some family member, elder people in the family, etc. So you'll not lament forever, right? So lamentation is something you do it for long. So sorrow is something you will have both happiness and distress in your life, but happiness and distress, those are all temporary, they come and they go. But lamentation is something you do it for a longer period of time. So if you are in a distress for a longer period of time, you are not able to come out of it, that is called as lamentation. So Krishna is saying here, don't lament unnecessarily. Your lamentation, your grief is for something which is not worthy. For example, a child is playing with a small toy. It might be an old toy, maybe 10-15-year-old toy. Maybe he has taken it from his elder sibling and things like that. But the child is playing with that, and somehow the child spoiled the toy. It was broken, and the child started crying. What did parents say? So parents will say, it's not worthy of your lamentation. You don't need to worry about an old toy. I immediately get you a new toy. So why you are crying so much for that old toy? But the child doesn't know that, right? If he's a younger child, he doesn't know that parents will buy another toy and he can happily play with that toy, etc., right? So child is thinking that this toy is very valuable, and parents has a better understanding. They know that they can get much better toy for the child to happily play with. So you don't need to worry about it, is what parents tell to the child. Similarly, Krishna, who has better knowledge, he's saying that, my dear Arjuna, so you are lamenting for something which is not worthy of your grief. It's not worth lamenting for a material body. You are speaking as if you were a learned person. So yesterday we discussed about it, right? He was giving a lot of analogy. If I kill the soldier, what happens to the soldier's family. So soldier is coming to the battle and he dies in the battle, and there will not be anyone to take care of their family, their women in the family, children in the family, elderly people in the family. And because there is nobody to take care of, to control that family, the women in the family will be exploited, and Varna Sankara happens. Family traditions will be lost. Everything he's talking, right? He's talking like a very learned person and presenting good arguments as if he has advanced knowledge, right? He already has advanced knowledge, but Krishna is saying you were speaking as if you are very learned person, but you are lamenting for what is not worthy of grief. He says intelligent people should not lament for either the living or the dead. Means it is not worthy of lamenting for a living person, and it is not worthy of lamenting for a dead person also. So whether the person is living or dead, there is no point in lamenting, is what Krishna says. But he also explains it's not as simple as that, but he will explain. He says there are two types of crying. One is, for example, somebody is very prosperous, very popular, very famous, and very influential. And some people look at that person and start crying, right? Crying in terms of envy. So they feel like, okay, they are so popular, I am not so popular. They are so successful, I am not so successful. They are so beautiful, I am not so beautiful, etc. So they feel like that. And these are tears of envy, tears of jealousy, and tears of intolerance, seeing somebody else's superiority. So they don't cry, so they cry like that. But Krishna is saying don't cry for them. Just because you are crying, that doesn't mean that they will become less famous or less powerful, right? If you have tears in your eyes for them, it will not affect them, is what Krishna says. And they are talented because that's the reason why they are famous and they are getting successful also. So why are you unnecessarily crying with your tears of jealousy? So this is one way of crying. So another crying is if somebody dies and people are lamenting and lamenting. Let us take one incident from seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the seventh canto, there was a king named Suyagna. So he fought courageously in a war and he died. So there's one thing we need to remember. So if some Kshatriya dies in a war, if he wins the kingdom. If he dies while fighting, he will go to heaven because he is doing his prescribed duty well. He will be sent to heaven even if he leaves the body. So Suyagna, he fought courageously in a war and he died, and his wives came and surrounded his dead body and started lamenting for him. So they were crying profusely. They were crying so much that that they not even allowing the dead body to be burned, dead body to be taken away for cremation. So it was the time for conducting funeral rites, but for this dead man, but these queens are not allowing that to happen. So they are just surrounding the dead body and then crying and crying. And then Yamraj, the Lord of Death, came in the form of a small child and told these ladies, the queens, even if you cry for the next 100 years, your husband will not live again. Once he died means he died. He will not again regain his life just because you are crying. So he wanted to casual them, and he wanted to make them understand. So meanwhile, crying and crying, your life will pass away. So he's also saying if you uh, cry and cry like this, your life will also pass away. You will become weak and you will also leave the body. So you can feel bad, you can feel disappointed, or you will miss the person. Definitely, that is something that everybody will feel about it. But the feeling of separation should not be the lamentation. So you should not be feeling in such a way that the dead person should be coming back, right? So there is no point being dysfunctional. There is no point lamenting unduly, unnecessarily for a prolonged time. So that is the point here. So you should definitely have sweet memories of that person, sweet memories and sweet interactions with that person. That person may be very dear to you. That is all okay, but that is very natural also. But that doesn't mean that you become dysfunctional and you do not do anything at all and give up all your duties and shift your attention to the dead person only, and you become indifferent, and you don't do your assigned duties, and you will only be crying for the rest of your life. Does it make any sense? No, right? Did you see anybody like that? I have seen one person, but anyway, time deals everything. But that should not be done, is what Krishna says here. So that's not the Vedic culture also. So it doesn't mean that you become insensitive to the dead person. Somebody died means, okay, it doesn't make any difference to me whether they live or die. It doesn't make any difference to me. That's not what Krishna says here. So he's trying to emphasize here, you should have emotions, you should have feelings, but your emotions should not make you dysfunctional. Your emotions should not make you lament. So therefore we need this knowledge of philosophical knowledge and advanced intelligence or analytical intelligence to control our emotions. So why do we need Bhagavad Gita? This is also one of the reasons. So it has a lot of knowledge. We will be able to lead our life well. So situations will not change. Happiness, distress keep coming and going. Situations will remain the same. But how will you control your emotions? How will you deal with those situations and come out of them happily is what Bhagavad Gita teaches. So don't think that somebody was asking, if I read Bhagavad Gita, all my miseries will go away. So it's not like that. So, so you will be able to control your emotions, not kill your emotions. Krishna is also advising the same. So you should be controlling, but not killing the emotions. There is a difference between both of them, right? Controlling emotions and killing emotions. But there are some gnanis because they have a lot of gnana, they want to kill their emotions. So they even say that there is no form, there is no name, there is no relationship. Uh, there is no love, affection, prema, sneha, mamata, anuraga, vatsalya, nothing is there. All this is bogus. There is nothing, everything is sunya. They are called sunyavadis. So some people say like that because of their advanced analytical intelligence, they kill emotions. So they disregard all the emotions. Even they see somebody dying in front of them, they don't have emotion at all. So like that they destroy all the relationships, they are disinterested and totally insensitive to any relations. So there are some people like that, but Krishna, they are very hard hearted. So hard heartedness in that way is actually ignorance, is what Krishna says. So knowledge is not meant to make us to become hard hearted. So now that we are receiving the spiritual knowledge, doesn't mean that you become hard hearted or stone hearted or become insensitive or indifferent to emotions, etc. Right? It's not what Krishna teaches here. But it should be meant to control our emotions, regulate our emotions, channelize our emotions in a proper way. Because sometimes when people become emotional, they become dysfunctional. There's nothing wrong in having emotions, but being too emotional is wrong. There's nothing wrong in having sentiments, but being too sentimental is wrong. So philosophy is meant to control those sentimental mentalities. So he's saying that pandits, whoever is a learned people, means wise people, don't lament for either living nor for the dead. Then body is like a dress. So you're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Krishna is saying body is like a dress. So we have gross body, subtle body, and we have soul inside it. Okay. So gross body is what? You have hands, legs, and the physical appearance of your body is called gross body. It has senses also, like we can discuss later. So there's a gross body which is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Panchabhutalu, you know, right? So the five elements. So the body is made up of earth, water, fire, and ether. And it also has senses, visible senses. And there is a subtle body which is made of mind, intelligence, and ego. So mind, intelligence, and ego is a subtle body. It is not visible, but gross body is visible to us. And inside that subtle body, there is soul and super soul also. So Prabhupada, who is a founder Acharya of ISKCON, so he once called a small child, and he asked, "What is this?" He says, "This is ear." Whose ear? He says, "My ear." He says, "What is this?" This is hand. He asks, whose hand is this? This is my hand. He asks, what is this? Eye. Whose eye is it? My eye. So like that, he also asks, what is this? He says dress. Whose dress is this? He says my dress. Means everything belongs to him, but he is not eye, he's not ear, he's not hand, etc. Right? So eye belongs to you, face belongs to you, nose belongs to you, hand belongs to you, but you are not the hand, you are not the eye, you are not the nose. Similarly, body belongs to us, but we are not the bodies. You all agree with me? Simple message, right? Somebody asks you, who are you? So what do you say? We are not body, right? You will say some name.
Soul, Mataji.
Yeah, we are soul, but in general, if somebody has no understanding of who are we, so we are not this body, we are soul. That's the reason why we say this is my name, this is my I. Who am I? Somebody asks you, this body, whose body is this? You say this is my body. That means you are not the body, right? You are only saying this is my body, and who are you? You are not a body. So simple message, right? We are possessors of the body, owners of the body, but we are not the bodies. Body and soul are different. This is one of the foremost teachings of Krishna. So Arjuna, by accepting Krishna as his guru, he taught us the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita, that we need guru, and in the role of guru, Krishna taught his first lesson that we are different from the bodies. So body is temporary and soul is eternal. So body is material, soul is spiritual. Body is perishable. So one day it has to go in the earth again. It has come from the earth, it will also go into the earth. Soul is eternal. So don't lament for the dress of a drowning person, is what Prabhupada says. For example, if somebody is wearing a costly, expensive dress, which is of maybe 2-3 crores, and he's somehow he fell into the ocean, and whom do you save? Do you save the dress or the person? Do you save the dress because it is 3 crores of value? No, right?
No, Mataji, we will save the person.
Yeah, we will save the person. So that means, but if that person is if that body is a dead body, will you save the body? No, right? So we want to save if the body is alive, so that life comes from the soul. So as soon as somebody dies, right, they don't even call them with a name. They call it as a dead body. They don't even name them. The wealth that they have acquired, the fame that they have acquired, maybe they talk about, if that person is a very good person, they talk about him for a few days. But as soon as the soul leaves the body, it becomes a dead matter. So that we need to understand, the valuable thing inside the body is our soul, which gives life to the body. So now Krishna is presenting very advanced knowledge to Arjuna. So Krishna spoke based on Arthashastra, but then Krishna is speaking Dharma Shastra also. Like Arjuna spoke based on Arthashastra, the reasonings that he has given yesterday on why he doesn't want to fight. He has given 4 reasons, right? So he talked based upon the Arthashastra, which is mainly about what is right, what is wrong, etc. But Gnana is higher than all of that. So means you should have proper knowledge of matter and spirit. To forgive a wrongdoer is dharma, but it's one aspect of dharma, no doubt. But gnana means knowledge, where you evaluate what is right and what is wrong, and punish a person instead of forgiving that person. You punish a person for the rectification of the person. So when you forgive a wrongdoer who has done abominable things, that's a noble quality, where I mean, your good quality is seen. But if you go and punish a wrongdoer, then you will dissolve that person to do that wrong thing again and again. So like this, a person is doing mistakes, like Duryodhana and party. So they were given several opportunities by Krishna and Pandavas, but they were very arrogant. They did not listen. They did not obey to anything that they are offering. And this is, as a last thing, they have come for the war. But it's not that, okay, for the first time Duryodhana is doing a mistake and Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight and kill Duryodhana. It's not like that. So Krishna, for Krishna, Duryodhana and Arjuna both are of same, because both are jivas and children of Krishna. So Krishna has equal. He sees all of them on an equal platform. But why is he asking? Because Krishna descends to earth for 3 reasons. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkrutam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So for 3 things he appears: to protect the righteous people, to punish the miscreants who are like the Duryodhana, and to re-establish the dharma. So now we have 4 yugas, right? Kali Yuga, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So there are 4 yugas, and the cycle repeats. After Kali Yuga, again Satya Yuga comes into picture, and after Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga comes into picture, and Treta Yuga, after that Dwapara Yuga come into picture, and then later Kali Yuga. So this cycle continues forever. And in Satya Yuga, dharma is standing on four legs. And there are no demons at all. And in Treta Yuga, demons are in, maybe in Satya Yuga, demons are in different planets, different planetary systems. They are not on the earth. So they have separate planets. But in Treta Yuga, demons are in like Hiranyaksha, you know, right? So in Satya Yuga, what did he do? He put Mother Earth into the ocean, and Varahadev appears and he brings back the earth, right? That means Hiranyaksha is not part of earth. He's not living on the earth. That's why he's able to take the earth and drown it into the ocean. So Satya Yuga is like that, and Treta Yuga, in the same universe but in different countries, like Rama and Ravana. So demons are in Sri Lanka and Rama is in India, right? So like that, they are into different countries. And in Treta, Dwapara Yuga, in the same family, demons and righteous people, both of them are there. So Dharma and Adharma in the same family, like Kauravas and Pandavas. But in Kali Yuga, Dharma, Adharma is in the same person. Sometimes we do right, sometimes we do wrong. Sometimes we behave rightly and sometimes we feel like not behaving rightly. So we have that struggle of right and wrong inside ourselves. So Kali Yuga is like that. So Duryodhana, because this happened in Dwapara Yuga, so Duryodhana is on the side of Adharma and Arjuna is on the side of Dharma. So Krishna's responsibility is to re-establish Dharma by uprooting the adharmic demons like Duryodhana and Pati. So they were given several chances and they are not listening. That's the reason why Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight and kill all of the miscreants. So, for example, if a child does a mistake, a lot of mischief, he goes and steals in neighbor's house, what will parents say? So do you punish, do you train the child not doing it again, or do you tolerate and tell your neighbors, okay, it is okay, he's a child, he's just 10 years old, he keeps doing, that's fine, you tolerate. Do you say like that? No, right? You will train the child. If he's an infant, it's okay. Everybody enjoys. If somebody 1 year, 2 year old steals something from others' house, they will also enjoy. You will also enjoy because he's just a little kid. But if a 10-year-old does the same thing, do you enjoy or do you train them not to do it again?
Not to do it again.
Not to do it again, right? So that is so if you tolerate some simple activities is fine, but don't tolerate some known major mistakes. So there is a thin line between accommodativeness and strictness. So right now you see, in the name of strictness, right, you can't be insensitive, but in the name of forgiveness you can't be overly tolerant of some unmentionable or unethical behavior. So that is not tolerance. So that is negligence of your responsibility to correct, right? So what to tolerate and what to neglect, we need to understand. So where we are supposed to overlook things, where we need to have proper balance, when to be strict and when not to be strict, this everything has to be balanced, everything has to be understood by the knowledge. So now that Krishna tolerated several times the activities of Duryodhana, and he has come to an end. So now it is only left is to kill him, to uproot him and establish the dharma. So that is something that is the reason why Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to fight despite of his relationship with the other party. So in slide number, in the next shlokas, Krishna is saying, Arjuna, please understand, do you think that these people never existed before? So he's talking about body and soul now. So he's saying, do you think that these people never existed before? Do you think these people will cease to exist after you kill them? No, right? So there was never a time where these kings did not exist, or you did not exist, or I did not exist. All of us always existed, and all of us will continue to exist, is what Krishna is trying to say Arjuna to convince him for fighting. So he says, we So we will exist, we'll continue to exist for the rest of the eternity, because if you take us as a souls, we are not these bodies. So we will continue to exist. We were existing before, we will exist now, we will also exist in the future, and we will exist for the rest of the eternity. So we have been existing since time immemorial. So this is Krishna's message. That means whether it is Krishna or Arjuna or all the kings, everyone existed eternally. Does it mean we and Krishna are on the same level? Yes or no?
No.
No, right? So that's another mistake, because Krishna is eternal and we are eternal. Krishna is deathless, we are deathless. Krishna is birthless, we are birthless. That doesn't mean we and Krishna are same. So there are some similarities between God and the living being. There are some similarities between Ishvara and Jiva. So what are the similarities? Uh, Krishna is Sachidananda. So we are also Sachidananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means eternity. He is eternal, we are eternal. Chit means knowledge. He is knowledgeable, we are knowledgeable, but his knowledge is infinite. Our knowledge is finite, very limited knowledge we have. Ananda means he is blissful, we are also blissful, but he is eternally blissful, ever blissful. He doesn't have any time to be in sorrow or to lament, right? But our bliss is oftentimes covered because of our material miseries. So that innate quality of being blissful is there within us also. There is no doubt. Actually, Jiva is Anandamaya, means pleasure seeking. So we all do everything for pleasure only, right? For happiness only. Do you agree with me? So
Yes.
whatever we do, we do it for our happiness, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so pleasure is a natural constitutional position of every single jiva. That's the reason why we are seeking for pleasure, we are seeking for happiness every time. But this ananda is covered because of material miseries, because we are in the material world. So we are not able to get that permanent ananda. So when we go back to Godhead, when we go to Vaikunthas, it will be all blissful, all ananda eternally. So Lord and the living entities, just like a small drop of ocean. There's a difference that we can understand with this. So a drop in the ocean, which has the same chemical composition, right, as a huge ocean, right or wrong? So if you take a small drop from the ocean, it is salty, and if you take a big ocean also, it is salty. It has the same qualities, but the quantity is not same. Similarly, Krishna is qualitatively we and Krishna are same, but not quantitatively. So that is a big difference that we need to understand. So there are many other differences between us and Krishna. Krishna is maintainer of all the worlds, all creations, but we are not maintainers of not even ourselves, right? Sometimes at the max we can maintain ourselves and other family members, but we cannot maintain the whole universe. But Krishna is maintaining millions of universes like that. So that is one of the differences that we need to understand. And he's also saying, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam zara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. So he's saying this body also is undergoing so many transformations. If you see the pictures here, so from childhood to boyhood to youth, and then to old age, and the person is dying, right? So the body is undergoing lot of transformations. From the time of birth, the child is very tiny, very small, very fragile, and as the child grows, the body grows, and body becomes very big, and the person becomes old, and then body dwindles, and it becomes weak and leaves the body. So childhood to youthhood, youthhood to old age, and old age to death. And you should also have a bandwidth and intelligence to accept this transition. So this is all fact, we need to accept it. So change of body is very natural, and when the body changes, the next life need not be a human body, the next life. So do you think that you will be getting a human body next life also, or is it mandatory that because we are in human body now, we will be going into human body in the next life also?
It will
No,
depend
no,
on
right?
our karmas.
Yeah, that depends on our karma. You're absolutely right, Prabhu. So, so we may also get an animal body or an aquatic body, any other body for the matter, right? So better accept that change. That's why Krishna's message is the soul finally changes the body. So at the time of death, In fact, you should feel happy that Bhishma and Drona have become old and they will get new bodies. And because they are great people, they will definitely go to heavenly planets because they, sinful people, right? Whoever performs sin, like whatever good activities you do, whatever bad activities you do, there will be there will be an account maintained. So for the reactions of the good, for the reactions of the bad that you have done in the current life, you will be choosing your next life. So all those reactions, because Bhishma and Drona are great people, they will definitely get good bodies and they will be promoted to heavenly planets. But a sinful person, when he changes the body, he may not become he may become an animal or a bird or a tree, etc. Right? Any other species. There are 84 lakh species. Within that, you may become one of them based upon your current karma that you are doing. The past karma in this life that you are doing, that depends on your, that is the base for your next life. But an elevated soul like Bhishma and Drona will die, they will get a better body, maybe advanced body, or they might go to Vaikuntha also. So we change in our lifetime from boyhood to childhood to old days in small percentages, but the larger percentage of change happens, bigger change happens when the time of death. So therefore it's difficult to take uh, I know it's difficult to take, but we have to accept it. So Krishna basically says soul is ever alive, but body is never alive. But Arjuna has a question now. So Arjuna asks, okay, Krishna, I understand you are saying that soul is ever alive. There is no death to the soul, and I accept it. And the body is never alive. That also I accept it. But now my interaction with Bhishma, Pitamaha, and Dronacharya is through their bodies only. If their bodies are destroyed, I won't be able to interact with them. So what about that? If I have to personally destroy that body, that is even more difficult for me. So how can I accept that? So that is Arjuna's question to Krishna. So then Krishna teaches the art of tolerance. So, so Arjuna says, I accept that you you are interacting with Bhishma, Drona, and all of your relatives through their bodies only. And so if you look at this shloka, right? Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukadukkada agama paino nityastam titikshasva bharata. So he says tolerance is what he mentions here. So when the bodies are gone, although the person is still alive and he continues to exist in a different setup, but you won't be able to interact with them in the same relationship because they will be in a different setup altogether in their next lives. So I agree with you, but you have to tolerate that. What else you can do? So Arjuna, Krishna is saying, so you have to tolerate this. There is no other option for you. So because they stood on the side of adharma, you have to kill. So that's your responsibility. So I'm telling you to tolerate that separation from your relatives. I'm not telling you to tolerate their injustice because they are not giving their share of kingdom, and they have done so many atrocities against Pandavas. And so there is a difference. He's saying you have to tolerate the separation from your relatives, but you should not tolerate the injustice done for you or the adharma that they are creating, right? So that is the difference. Tolerate separation, but don't tolerate injustice. That is the message that Krishna gives here. So you all know sense objects, right? Sense objects refer to the things that the senses perceive, like colors, sounds, tastes, smells, and textures. And these are all create attraction for the senses. Sense objects create attraction for the senses, leading to desires and attachments. For example, if you see a beautiful car, you might develop an attachment for it. And after that attachment, you may want to have it. You will desire for it, right? So there are 5 physical sense organs also, which will see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. There are 5 sense organs for everybody: eyes, ears, tongue, skin, etc. Right? So senses, when they come in contact with sense object, they cause some experiences. So what are those experiences? Experiences on a bodily plane, like cold, heat. On a mental plane, like sukha, dukkha, happiness, distress. For the subtle elements, right? So where do you feel that happiness and distress? Do you feel from the body or the subtle body? Mind intelligence, right? Your mind says you are happy. Your mind says you are distressed, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So dualities, they are called as dualities: happiness, distress, heat, cold, comfort, discomfort, etc. Right? So these are all dualities on a physical plane. There are dualities on mental plane, which are like so everything will come and go. They are temporary. Agama apayino. He's saying, Krishna is saying agama apayino. They will come and they will go. They appear and disappear. And he is also saying anitya. Agama apayino anitya. Anitya is temporary. So nitya is permanent. Anitya is temporary. So he says this happiness, distress, and this cold, heat, and whatever you're facing, the dualities, they come and they go, and they are all temporary in nature. And therefore, Krishna says, tolerate them. So whenever your senses come in contact with sense objects, you experience cold and heat on physical plane, happiness, distress on the mental plane. So now, and the level of emotions when somebody just takes birth, for example, your relative or your some of in from any of your relatives or friends or brothers, sisters, somebody has given birth to a small baby. So they immediately call you with so much of happiness, and there is a birth of a new baby boy or baby girl, and you become very very happy, and you take some gifts to them, you greet the newborn child, and you celebrate the gatherings and things like that, right? But so many things happen on it, happen joyfully. People conduct ceremonies also, naming ceremony, so there are so many ceremonies, right? So when birth happens, but somebody calls you, like my grandmother or grandfather passed away, that creates some distress, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, even though the person is very old, we still feel that distress. So birth gives joy, death gives distress. But birth is temporary, death is also temporary. And whatever happens between birth and death, that is also temporary. So actually, birth is very painful experience for the baby. So imagine if you have to be in the mother's womb, inside the blood and pus, and you don't have anything to breathe, and you don't have proper room to move. Is it a joyful experience? For 9 months, you have to be there like that. Do you
No.
think it is joyful?
No, Mataji.
No, right? So that is most painful experience. Every jiva who goes into the mother's womb, they all pray for all the 9 months to Krishna, the Lord, Supreme Lord, asking him to make that person come out of that position, because it is such a painful situation. And according to Garuda Purana also, so when you die also, so did you ever know when scorpion bites, how much pain it will be? You might have heard from somebody also. Do you know there's a lot of pain, right? If a scorpion bites. Anybody knows about it? Not through experience, but somebody might have told, right? Elders in the family or somebody. Scorpion is very dangerous. It bites. It gives you a lot of pain for several days. If it is not poisonous, also it gives a lot of pain. And if it is more poisonous, probably it might end up with death also. So, according to Garuda Purana, the pain of death is comparable to suffering of 42,000 scorpion bites. So, death is also painful. Birth is also painful. Uh, so that is the reason why you see all the children, they cry when they take birth. Did you ever see anybody laughing, smiling when they are coming out of the mother's womb?
No, Mataji.
No, right? So, but only it happens with Krishna. Krishna, when he has taken birth in the womb of Mother Devaki, so he was smiling, and Rama also smiling, and Vamanadev. Except the lords, no other child has taken birth while smiling. Um, so, but that is a very painful experience. The child experiences the pain, and even mother experiences the pain. So, whoever is a mother here, they can understand while giving birth to a child. So, death is also painful experience. Birth is also painful experience. We have to tolerate that happiness and distress. So, knowing that they are inevitable, so they are anyway going to happen, bound to happen. So, we cannot avoid. So, you need to learn tolerating the death of your relatives, and Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitamaha, your teacher and grandfather. You tolerate the pain of separation from them, but uh, you don't have to tolerate their injustice, is what Krishna's point is here, because they stood on the side of adharma. They have to die, is what Krishna's point is. So Krishna gives this knowledge of soul and body. So if you look at here, he talked about all individuals exist eternally, and the change of body is natural. The soul is indestructible. We'll see in this next slide. The soul doesn't kill or get killed. That we'll see in the next slide. And no one can kill the soul. Changing bodies is similar to changing the clothes that we discussed. And the soul, do you know the dimension of the soul? So if you take a tip of your hair and if you make it 10,000 parts, so one part will be the dimension of your soul. So can you imagine? Can a naked eye, human eye can see it?
No, ma'am.
We cannot see, right?
No.
So we cannot even see the 3Ds, 4Ds. Also, we need to have that vision with that specs only we will be able to see. And this 1 by 10,000 part of the tip of the hair will definitely not able to see. And soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon. So Krishna gave all this knowledge. Soul cannot be withered by wind. Soul cannot be dried also. Soul cannot be moistened by water. Soul cannot be burnt by fire. So these are the characteristics of soul, and the dimension of soul is 1 by 10,000 tip of the hair. So that is the dimension of the soul. So he gives all that knowledge and he inspires Arjuna to fight. And in the next section, and he talks about working for enjoyment, sakama karma. So as we discussed, if somebody is depressed, we try to give several analogies, several things, and try to make them come out of it, right? So same way, Krishna is also giving several kinds of knowledge to Arjuna to come out of the depression and start to fight and win the battle. So Sakama Karma is something he's talking about now. Uh, and he gives Arjuna the knowledge of body and soul and asks him to fight. But now Krishna gives the knowledge of Sakama Karma, working for enjoyment. So he says, my dear Arjuna, if you do your duty of fighting in the war, there are two possible outcomes. Number one is you may die. So we discussed about it, right? If a Kshatriya dies in a battle, he will go to heaven. So he says, if you fight, either you win or lose. These are the two options, right? So if he wins, he will enjoy the kingdom. If he lose, he will enjoy in heaven. So he says, if you do not fight, you will incur all these things. You will incur sin of not doing your duty well as a Kshatriya, and everybody talks about you. Your reputation will go down, and they will even they criticize you. They give you nindas as well. So that is what Krishna says. If you fight, this is the situation. If you do not fight, this is the situation. So, so he said there is no enjoyment, right? So Krishna addresses that question. He says, if you do your duty well, there is an enjoyment. Even if you are alive, if you are dead in the battle, you will enjoy in both the cases, is what Krishna says. So initially, what Arjuna said, he doesn't see any happiness. He doesn't see happiness without relatives. There is all misfortune that he's seeing, and there is no enjoyment, he said. But Krishna has turned that no to yes. So he says there is an enjoyment. Even if you win or if you lose, there is an enjoyment. So Krishna gives that knowledge of sakama karma. So if you defeat, you will anyway go to heaven, is what he says. If you win, you will become a king of Hastinapura. So enjoyment is guaranteed, is what he says, by doing your prescribed duty. What is his prescribed duty? His prescribed duty is fighting. Doing your prescribed duty with desire to enjoy that result is called sakama karma. Karma is an activity. So any activity that you perform is called karma. Sakama karma is if you do that, there is an enjoyment. With that spirit, if you do that activity, is called sakama karma. Because we go to office every day, right? So why do we go? Month end we get that salary,
For
isn't it?
duty.
Very nice. Looks like you've already realized Bhagavad-gita.
Huh.
Yeah, but in general, right? But we work hard for the month end salary, right? So we are working hard with the result and expectation in mind. We have a desire to enjoy the results. So we have a desire to get the salary and enjoy with that salary. So that is the ultimate aim of sakama karma. Sakama karma is doing your duty with an expectation, with a desire to enjoy that result. That is sakama karma, but that is not recommended by Krishna. We will come to see why is he saying like that. It's not the ultimate teaching. So as part of motivating Arjuna, because he wants Arjuna to come out of it, he's teaching Arjuna, okay, anyway, if you do it, you will get this kind of results. Keep that in mind and you do your duty. But that is not the ultimate teaching of Krishna. Next section, Krishna is speaking about nishkama karma. So sakama karma is doing your prescribed duty with the attachment to result. But the next section he talks about nishkama karma, work with detachment. So 2.38 to 5.3 he talks about nishkama karma. Nishkama karma means performing your duties without any expectation. So sakama karma, nishkama karma, both are performing your prescribed duties only, but the intention is different. So sakama karma, you intend to enjoy the results, but here's nishkama karma, you don't intend to enjoy the results. You don't have any expectations or any attachment to the outcomes. So Krishna says that is called buddhi yoga. So nishkama karma is also called as buddhi yoga and also detached work. So you will not be attached to the results. So then he says, so Arjuna's third point that he has described in the previous chapter. So Krishna is addressing that third point also. So you will have sinful reactions if I kill all the relatives is what his point was. But he says there is no sinful reaction if you do your karma without expecting the result. So sakama karma, you will definitely incur either good or bad. Bad activity, you will incur sin. Good activity, you will incur good karma. But nishkama karma, you do the same activity, but your intention is to, you are not intending for any outcomes. You are not attached to the results. You are giving that results to the Lord. So that is the difference between nishkama karma and sakama karma. So Krishna says this is buddhi yoga. Engage your intelligence in performing this yoga. So do detached work. You don't get attached to the work, attached to the results of the work. So if you perform, it doesn't mean that you work hard and you don't take the salary. It doesn't mean that, but you take the salary, utilize it properly by having that knowledge. So that is what it means. If you perform your work just dutifully without any intention to enjoy the result, without an attachment to the outcome, then you will not incur any reaction is what Krishna says here. So this is the path of yoga that he introduces. And in this path of yoga, where you perform your duties to satisfy the Supreme and not with attachment to the result, you need to have one-pointed intelligence. So sakama karma anybody can do because you have the inspiration that you will get that particular result. But nishkama karma, you need to have that knowledge. So you need to have that one-pointed intelligence, which is called vyavasayatmika buddhi. So if you have vyavasayatmika buddhi, then you will be able to attain your goal. But there are some obstacles if you have to do nishkama karma with determined intelligence, vyavasayatmika buddhi. So there are obstacles is what Krishna says. What are those obstacles? Bhoga and Aishwarya. So one is too much absorbed in Bhoga and Aishwarya, opulence and enjoyment. Bhoga is opulence and Aishwarya is enjoyment. So opulence and enjoyment, if you're attached to that, such a person cannot be determined in his spiritual practice. So on top of it, people may be allured by so many temptations that are given by the Vedas. So if you look at Vedas, right, there are so many things told. If you do this puja, you will get this kind of benefit. So for a lot of benedictions, we do certain activities prescribed in Vedas, right? If you go to any normal temple, they will advise you, okay, if you are not having children, you do this yaga, you do this puja, etc. And if you want to get promotion, or if you want to get go to foreign countries and things like that, for everything they have some description in Vedas. So they go through the Vedas and give you those kind of activities to be performed. Those are called karma kandic activities. So there are certain karma kandic sections in Vedas also. So those are the temptations given by the Vedas to normal people, where you perform some rituals and get some kind of enjoyment. So that is why Krishna says, come out of that material modes. And finally, he says, yoga is equanimity. So it's whether it is siddhi or asiddhi, means success or failure, maintain equanimity. And that is called yoga, is what he says. So real yoga means to concentrate the mind on the Supreme Lord. So that is called real yoga. So in that you need to maintain equanimity. So you need to be equipoised. Whether success or failure, you should take it equally on a material plane. It doesn't mean that you don't need to have emotions, but you should come out of it easily, and you should have that knowledge. Okay, this is temporary. This they come and they go, and it should not impact me anyway. I'm not the body. So you should remember all that knowledge. So on the material plane, there are so many dualities. Sometimes success, sometimes failure is what we have already discussed. Happiness and distress, but we need to be equipoised is what Krishna says. So for that, you need to be having that Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi, one-pointed intelligence. Krishna speaks about Nishkama Karma, and he is also describing the importance of mind control. So he says, be equipoised, that is called yoga. Equipoised between success and failure, happiness, distress. So such a person is called as Sthita Prajna, is what he says. So what does Sthita Prajna do? We will see. So Krishna talks about Sakama Karma, Krishna talks about Nishkama Karma, and Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to do Nishkama Karma only. The ultimate teaching is Nishkama Karma. But he also introduced Sakama Karma to inspire Arjuna that this is also one of the process. In that way also you don't need to lament, is what he wanted to tell him. And now Krishna talks about who can be equipoised. What are the equipoised, and you need to be having Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, everything, those qualities he described, right? So Arjuna asks him, what are the qualities of Sthita Prajna? So Krishna said, you need to be like a Sthita Prajna, you need to be equipoised, you need to be working as a detached worker. You should not have attachment to results and all these things. And he's calling that person as Sthita Prajna. And now Arjuna has a question. So tell me, Krishna, what are Sthita Prajna's symptoms? How does he walk? How does he speak? How does he sit, etc.? So it means not actually sitting, standing, and like that. So he has these 4 questions. What are his characteristics? How does he walk? How does he talk? And how does he sit? And he describes in the following shlokas Sthita Prajna's response to dualities. So how does he speak means how does he respond to dualities, and how does he sit means how does he control the senses, and Sthita Prajna's how does walking means how does he engages his senses, is what Krishna Arjuna is asking. So when the mind is not controlled, what happens? So there are 2 shlokas. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Bijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti Vibramaha Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. So these 2 shlokas talks about mind control. So when you are contemplating or meditating on some sense object, for example, if you want to buy a car and you are discussing or you're meditating on it, you're meditating means you're thinking about it, you're talking about it, and you're exploring, looking in the net about that car, then what happens? Attachment happens. Attachment will come on that particular car. So when attachment comes, you desire for it. So then karma will arise. So you want to have that car. So because you have done a lot of research and you have done so much of exploration, then attachment came into picture. So after attachment, the karma will come. So you want to possess it, you want to have that. So then if you don't get it, you will end up with anger, krodha. So you all know, right? Why do we get angry? Because certain things that we are expecting to be done in a way which is not happening that way, then we will be getting angry. Do you agree with me? Or if your
Yes.
if your children is not behaving the way that you are expecting them to behave, so you will get angry. So the things are not going as you were expected, you will get angry. So you have desired for that car and you did not get that car, krodha will come into picture. And when you are angry, you will be confused, sammoha will happen. And with that confusion state, you will lose the memory. That's the reason why in angry, so many people do not know what they are doing. And with that, loss of intelligence happens, buddhi nasha happens. And after buddhi nasha, what happens? We will fall down, we will be a failure. So mind control should be there. That is the reason why we should have a proper mind control. That's one of the teachings of Krishna. So with that, we will end. We will just look at what we discussed in the contents of Gita summarized, chapter 2 Bhagavad Gita. So first 1 to 10 shlokas, Arjuna's indecision and accepting Krishna as a guru. And 11 to 13 shlokas, 30th shloka, Krishna talked about Gnana Sankhya. He talked about body and the soul, and he gave that knowledge to Arjuna. And he also inspired Arjuna by saying different other yogas, Sakama Karma and Buddhi Yoga. Sakama Karma is working for enjoyment. So Krishna said, Arjuna, if you win the battle, you will enjoy the kingdom. If you lose the battle, you will enjoy heaven. And 38 to 53, he talked about Nishkama Karma Yoga. So he said about detached work, action without incurring reaction. So how do you do the action without incurring reaction? So you will have to do it without attachment. You give the results to Krishna. And you need to, for doing that, you need to have a Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, one-pointed intelligence. But there are obstacles in doing that. Those are called Bhoga and Aishwarya and mind control also. So how do you do all of that is what Krishna mentioned. And those, if anybody is doing that, that person is called Sthita Prajna. So Sthita Prajna symptoms, how does he walk? How does he sit? How does he speak? How does he control his mind? How does he respond to the dualities and things like that is what was the Arjuna's question. So Krishna gave one example of a tortoise. The tortoise, right, when it foresees any danger, what does it do? It withdraws all the limbs, hands, legs, and head into uh, inside. So you will see only the rock, the shell that it has, right? The tortoise has, it pulls everything into the shell. So you don't feel like it is a tortoise. You see it as a rock only. It is it shows like a shell only. So like that, Sthita Prajna also withdraws his senses. When there is a need, he withdraws his senses. For example, if you want to avoid junk food because of your health reasons, will you be able to control? Sthita Prajna will be able to control it. So for example, what does he do? He will have a higher engagement. So senses will definitely need to have an engagement, but instead of lower engagement, if you give higher engagement, it will be easier for you to control the senses. So like a yogi, if you have to control, it's very difficult. But as a devotee, if you have to control, it is easier, because instead of eating anything and everything, you go and eat prasadam. So prasadam has a higher taste, right? So tongue will not ask for more. If the tongue is satisfied, satiated, it will not ask for more, right? So that way you will be able to control your senses. So Sita Prajna will be able to do that, is what Krishna says here. So that's the end of second chapter. I know we're 15 minutes over. Sorry about the delay. If you have any questions, probably we can discuss. Or any comments, if you have understood anything you want to share with others, you can feel free to do so.
Excellent, Mataji. Excellent coverage of the second chapter from BG. The great appreciations from me. I am Lata from Chennai. Actually, I have gone through all these 18 chapters 5 years ago. And again, with my own interest, I am just joining and listening again and again these chapters. It was very beautiful. The way you are giving lecture is so fascinated, Mataji. Really,
Thank you so much,
yes.
Mataji. It is all coming from Acharyas. We give all credit to Acharyas. Thank you so much for Mataji. Glad that you understood well. So continue all the 18 chapters. It's important for us to be consistent and learn everything what Krishna says and benefit from what he's saying. So Bhagavad Gita is like a manual for our life, right? If you buy yesterday we discussed about it. If you buy a gadget, or if you buy something like washing machine or mixer grinder, anything, you get a manual, or a mobile phone for that matter. So you use that manual. If you don't know any of the options, you use that manual, right? Like Bhagavad Gita is also a manual for our life. So utilize the teachings of Krishna and be beneficial and lead your life peacefully, happily.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions or comments?
Mataji, only one question. This will be doing it every Saturday and Sundays, or it will
Yeah.
be?
Yes, Prabhu. We'll do every Saturday and Sunday, because this is meant for working professionals, right? So we thought it will be easier for you to join during the weekends than in the weekdays. So maybe if you're working, you will have some household duties to perform in the evenings, and daytime you have to go to job and things like that, right? So we thought it's easier for you to join during this time. But if majority of you thinks that you need to change the timings, probably we can do that. But we will want to continue doing it for Saturdays and Sundays.
No, thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any other comments, questions before we close?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for this class.
Hare Krishna, Pranati
Great
Mataji.
session.
Good to see you joining. If you can show your face, it will be more good.
Hare Krishna
If possible.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So sweet voice, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, it could be grateful if you share the recording of your this
Yeah, yeah.
Mataji.
Sure,
It would be
Mataji. I'll share the
grateful.
recording.
Yeah. We can send it to youngers, those who are studying in colleges, in future
Yeah.
they can backup.
Yeah. Sure,
Thank you.
Mataji. I'll share the recording after the class.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if no questions, we'll close the session. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Yeah.